I would describe the woke left as trying to cancel Western civilization, trying to cancel the fundamentals of what America was built upon, trying to say that America's founding was inherently to preserve slavery. That's what the 1619 Project, which is funded by the New York Times and won Pulitzer Prizes, it's a joke historically. It is ahistorical. It is not true. The United States was founded to destroy the monarchy.
I hear you, but let me just say, aren't we getting to the point where people like Governor DeSantis are not allowing any sort of Black history, an AP Black history course he wants to be eradicated from high school? Isn't that important to have that part of history?
No. What he did with that specifically was to say Black Lives Matter theology, if you will, is going to be optional. It's not going to be mandated because there's no balance in the curriculum of CRT and of the curriculum of Black Lives Matter. There was no mandating of equal treatment of Black conservatives, for example. I didn't see, okay, Clarence Thomas, Frederick Douglass, Zora Neale Hurston, Black conservatives, they are given short shrift. There's no balance in this curriculum. And so he says, I don't believe a curriculum should be teaching children to hate each other and to divide people on levels of privilege. That is a rejection of Dr. King's dream. That's ultimately, to me,
it seemed like he was just getting rid of it with a broad brushstroke. Do you have a
so
response?
just to make a number of factual corrections here, he didn't say anything about Black Lives Matter being optional. He said it can't be taught. And then it was the College Board, which I think make the wrong decision of saying, well, and they would say it's not in response to what Florida was doing, but we know it's in response to what Florida was doing.
No, but the date of the signing was before he made any statement.
If you'll let me finish. And so what ended up happening is that was optional. Look, there's no requirement that certain topics be given the same amount of time in terms of their coverage, right? Like, you can't just pretend like the Black Lives Matter movement, which we know now is the largest social protest movement possibly in American history, is something that, like, you just don't get to cover because it makes you, as a white conservative, uncomfortable. Like, that's not the way teaching history works. Like, we have to grapple with things that make us uncomfortable. I agree. I think people should learn about Clarence Thomas's way of thinking and Black conservatism. I don't see the College Board AP African American Studies course denying that opportunity to people who would take that class.
We are so contorted with whatever woke is and cancel culture. Again, I don't know who's canceling whom, but go ahead.
Well, look, so the problem with Black Lives Matter, again, I would call it theology. It's sort of a belief that is not based in facts. If you listen to the founder, excuse me, you said that I interrupted you. Let's be fair here. Sure. So the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, the movement. So I think let's distinguish between the phrase or the concept of Black Lives. They matter. They matter, obviously. But the organization, the actual people who run it, they are fraudulent. They've been tried by the IRS to say, you are bilking people for millions of dollars. And Patrisse Cullors, who is one of the founders of it, she has said explicitly, I'm a trained Marxist. So it is a political ideology that you are trying to force on young children in order to divide people by skin color. That is deeply problematic, and it is ideological in nature, and it is not neutral history.
So as someone who represented many hundreds of thousands of white people in New York's 17th Congressional District, I can assure you that the many thousands of white parents who took to the streets with their white children in support of Black Lives Matter did not necessarily associate with these handful of people who took credit for founding this movement. They were doing this in furtherance of rational policing reform and other racial justice causes that are widely, when you do the polling, supported by the American people, even if certain proposals are not always supported by the American people.
Friends, thank you very much for all of your perspectives.